Hello, hello. We have. I'll just play one more game here tonight, and it is a four-player game on Germany, featuring me, Selasphorus, num3n, who just made a very impressive showing recently on this channel, and our old buddy teokop. German 4, I like this, and this is going to be a pretty expensive Germany map too. Fairly expensive. You know, blue is decently priced. Yellow too is okay, but then brown and purple are just ugh. I think I played on this map recently, so the 4 went for its standard price of 8 to teokop. I expect Celas to bid on the 5, and I'm not going to outbid them for it. I'll just take the 8 instead. I'll go with the 8 because, again, it makes the most money on the first 2 turns out of any of these starting plans here. 17 in the game is a big blocker, and the others are just standard step 3 plants. To go under the deck is the 42. 34 will probably go under the deck at some point too. It could be tricky for me to build last here. And then again, it might not be that bad, because what I'm expecting to see is a build somewhere in here with the twins. And I definitely cannot afford any extra coal. I need to make sure I can afford a connection of at least 10 for my second city. I might get stuck going with Magdeburg, Berlin as my starting build. So I need to make sure I can afford that as my best option. Building last on Germany is not normally easy, but I actually feel better about it on this map compared to some others. The prime spots that I see are the twins in yellow. I could see a build there. A build somewhere in these twins, the cities with the free connection in blue. And then Würzburg. I could see a build there too, because then you kind of just go into purple from there, and it gives, you know, you have safe cities behind you for later in the game when you need them. I personally, num3n takes that build. I have learned recently in my games that that's not a thing you do. Magdeburg is not a build you should take first. You want to get closer to the cheaper stuff first, because this is a corner of the map, and it's an expensive corner of the map. And ooh. I think Mannheim Würzburg is my best build here. I think. Could also make a case for building in one of the twins plus Mannheim. I mean, Mannheim is valuable because that locks up the other part of it. That gives me the connection to the other part of purple. It gives me a cheap third city with Stuttgart. Yeah, I think this is my build. I get Stuttgart and Nuremberg as my next cities at a decent price by Germany standards. So I'm fine with this. 42 out, more coal in the form of the 31. I'm obviously not going to buy any of these dumb plants, because what I want is to stay at 2 cities and drop in the turn order after this. So I'm not going to buy a plant this turn. Everybody else should get a plant here, I think, because there's incentive for them to move past the 17 in the market, and that would require 3 plants to be bought this turn. Teokop is under some pressure to build both of the twins in yellow this turn, Halle and Leipzig, because if they don't build... Well, no, actually num3n builds first, so num3n Newman's probably going to build one of the twins as their second city here. That's very important for them to get a foothold into yellow for later in the game. Because brown can be a dangerous place. You can very easily get blocked in step 2 in brown. And you don't even get cheap cities up that way. Like you do with, say, the brown East Coast region on the USA map. Teokop buys the 7. Over the 13. That is curious to me. 15 drops too, so Newman just cashed in big time there. Teokop's going to stop using coal this turn, but then Newman's going to start using coal. I do think 15 has to be the buy for them here. Like, 15 and 16 are pretty ideal plants to get on turn 2, considering that people are going for the 10 and such. What do we have? 17, 31, 34, 40. The interesting thing here is 13 actually is a very good fit for Newman. They can do... What? Oh, that must have been a mistake. I'm not complaining, though, about 13 and 15 both still being in the market for next turn. I could use one of those plants. I think Newman's trying to play this on a phone or something. They've had some misclicks before trying to do that. Not the easiest interface to do on a touchscreen, I would imagine. That's why I always play this in the comfort of my desktop. Coal wasn't driven up as badly as it could have been, at least. I am okay with this for a turn 2 plant 8 usage. Newman can still build one here, which I think they should do. I think Newman should build into one of the twins in yellow, because they're still going to stay at the bottom of the turn order because of their misclick not buying a plant, and that's exactly what they do. Yep. I definitely think that's the correct play there, because it's not going to hurt their turn order, and Teokop's going to go into the twins if you let him. So definitely need to get your positioning there. Teokop's getting really fenced in for cities. Like, I honestly am not a fan of the Erfurt single build. I feel like I would honestly rather do something like Erfurt Fulda. Like, if you're going to build an Erfurt, you kind of have to build a second city because it's very easy to get blocked both ways if you just single build Erfurt. That's something that I've learned the hard way. Meanwhile, what is Teokop? Teokop needs to build Leipzig and stop. That is their plan for this turn. Teokop he needs to go Leipzig and log off. That should be the end of the turn for him. I don't know why he's not doing anything. Earth to Teokop. Earth to Teokop. Teokop opts not to build. That surprises me. Selasphorus triple builds, they know they're going to be at the top of the turn order, so they want to run the 10 and the 5 and make a little extra cash for the next turn. I arguably should have built Nuremberg. Arguably. I don't know, though. I feel like it's kind of a weird spot for me. And in comes 44, another big plant. People need to fight for this plant because of dumb 17 sitting on the market. 13 will be good for Selasphorus. 13's it's a solid fit with the 10. There's a bid on 13. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. You're at least getting a couple extra bucks out of Selas this way. Yeah. Well, I gotta buy 15 now. It's a very suitable replacement for the 8 here. If 31 even falls on deck, I'm just not gonna buy it. Period. Okay, there's a little bidding on 15. Do I take my chances here? I'm not buying 31. I am not buying 31. I was going to say, teokop, I hope you buy 31. On Germany with the expensive everything... $31 is just, I feel like it's not going to be a winner here, realistically. Buying it this early in the game, it just really hurts your building flow. The nice thing is this does mean teokop I don't think will be able to go into Nuremberg, which was my concern. They can probably only afford Leipzig on this turn, and they do have a decent play here where teokop, he can build into Leipzig, power the 2 cities with a 7 plant, and then start using the coal after that. Yes. With how much Germany rewards efficiency, I just think 31 this early is just going to get you into too much trouble money-wise. Will teokop really not build again? There we go. That's the obvious play. And now there's no pressure for me to build because they're not getting Nuremberg. I build before Teo in the next turn, so that's when I can take Nuremberg here. And Newman gets Berlin, so yeah, Teo's getting blocked hard. $46 out, 50 in. Hey! This is the plant that I need here. Right here. Right now. This is the plant that I need, and I'm in a perfect position to use it. I can pay 50 for this plant and build a 3rd city this turn. $46 and 50 will go under. and then 44 will be guaranteed the next plant to go under after that. Well, I'm bidding on this. Yep. Okay. Exactly enough money to buy a uranium and build Nuremberg. Now 30 comes on. This is interesting. 30 is a plant that you could buy now and stash for later when trash gets cheaper. 34, I will gladly pay 50 for this plant on Germany, because there's not likely to be competition for my resource. Like, me having this plant will strongly discourage anyone from buying 11 or 23, for example. So I ended up paying the exact maximum that I could afford to make sure that I get Nuremberg and fence teokop in. Well, Newman's in a good position to bid on 30. And I know Newman likes the 30 in general. This should go for a decent amount of cash. Because Newman does not need this plant at all for this turn. They can pay a lot of money for it and just run the 15. $16. Well, that's a plant that will control, it will keep it will keep oil from getting too cheap, at least. And teokop can't buy a plant this turn, obviously, so Selas can safely take the 16 here. And almost certainly build to 4. And there's the 20. Stuff like this is why I did not like 31 earlier. So my patience on not buying plants this whole time and just continually running to 8 finally pays off. This is why you don't want to panic and buy something like 9. Unless you know it's not going to hurt your turn order, building to 3. I personally think teokop's kind of screwed already because they're just running out of places to build. The only thing they could do that would be good would be a jump into Schwerin. That would be a huge help for them, but I doubt they have the money for that yet. Although, to be fair, Newman, after paying for the 30, is not going to have the money to build Schwerin either. So teokop could just maybe stay pat and I jump into there for next turn. They would have to just stay at 2 cities for that, though. And I mean, that's a build that costs 37, so... Okay, they're not going to stay below Newman in the turn order, then. There's no way Newman builds this turn, so... And then next turn I should easily be able to build to 5 cities. I can get my Stuttgart and Regensburg. Unfortunately, no, though. I actually won't have the money for that. Because I have to buy an $8 uranium. It's just like, nobody can buy the 20 right now. Like, oh my god, teokop actually buys the 20. Interesting play. I think what they're trying to do with this is to keep coal cheap, like by keeping the 20 out of the hands of someone else, but I just don't think that strategy is going to work on Germany. 36 actually makes it onto the market before step 3. Holy shit. And num3n can't buy it. I mean, you don't want to buy it anyway. Actually, they could consider buying this. They could consider buying this, replace the 3. My problem here is I cannot quite afford a 5th city this turn. That's going to be my problem here. The nice thing is, though, I do have a lot of open land available because I should be able to get Stuttgart this turn, which is my next most important city. We know for a fact that 36 is guaranteed to get pushed off the market next turn because all the next highest numbered plants are gone. We can already mark these plants down as going out of the deck. The only question is whether 36 goes under the deck before step 3 or not. Newman's definitely signaling that he's going to build by buying the oil on the 3 plant there. When you have plants like 20 and 31 at this stage of the game, you don't want to get your builds blocked like this. That's the nightmare scenario. The fact that I can't get to 5 this turn sucks. But I mean, other players aren't really... Selasphorus. Selasphorus is getting cheap plants and powering a bunch of cities. I'm $2 short of Regensburg, which sucks. Really hurts my money for this turn. I miss out on... Like, I'd make an extra $10 if I could build a 5th city this turn. And yeah, Selasphorus absolutely does the right thing. So Selasphorus is the player who is going to have a lot of money. They're definitely going to be... He's definitely going to be much richer than the rest of us. But we're running out of big capacity plants here. 29. 29 is good for Selas, though. That definitely helps them stick to their efficiency plan, which I think they kind of need to lean into Peace-Stein style. Just commit to the cheap, efficient plants and hope you have enough time to catch up on capacity in the endgame. Although, I still think I might be the player to beat here. 34 is just going to be so good. Especially once Step 2 starts, uranium restock goes up to 2 per turn. So it's just going to keep getting cheaper for me to run the 34 over time. I most certainly have no reason to bet on this. And there's 14. So we're going to start getting more duds now. We're definitely going to start getting more duds at this point of the game. We've gone through almost all the highest numbered plants. This is ridiculous. So Teokop is going to go for the efficiency route. So it looks like Teokop's just going to be content to not run the coal plants and stay at 3 cities for all of step 1. Unfortunately, I think that's just not going to make enough money to win. So I'll get Regensburg next. That's my next most important city because it controls the connections into the less horribly expensive parts of purple. Selasphorus has the money lead now for sure, but the problem is there's going to be an incoming market stall, and that could really kill Selas. So I feel like I still have to be the favorite to win at this point by virtue of having a 5 capacity plant, and a really efficient 5 capacity plant at that, with 25 and 26 not being nowhere to be found yet. That makes 34 stand out much more. These other players just can't power stuff efficiently at this stage yet. Except for Teokop, and Teokop just is not powering enough cities efficiently. Still feel like 31 and 20 is not going to be a winning combination here. Again, there's potential for market stall, but I feel like you know what we can do? Newman builds a 5th city. That makes sense. Frankfurt. Yeah, Frankfurt makes a lot of sense because Teokop could potentially build there. With a not awful connection. 0 and 12. I didn't even see 12 came. Yeah, this is the market stall here. Question is, do I want to be the one to break the stall? Because if the game stays in its current state for too long, that would give an advantage to Teokop, but I think my better play is just to do this. I think I just stall with the 34. Because, yes, Selasphorus is the player who's under pressure to build bad plants out of the market. But 19 coming is bad news. So they're not going to get a good plant for another turn. At least. 19 dropped. And there is 21, although it's not in the market yet. Really, though, Selasphorus, another plant that powers 4, it's not going to do a ton of good for Selas, because Selas already has, an efficient 4 capacity plant and a decent 3 capacity plant with a green plant. So, 21 is not going to improve things very much for Selas. There's no reason to buy any of this stuff. I mean, Teokop, you just bought the 27. You're obviously not going to buy the 19 yet. 26, though. Now things might open up a bit. So now, here's the problem. 21's still not even guaranteed to stay on next turn, although it is highly likely. There's 2 potential plants left in the deck, might be left in the deck, that are lower than 21. 21 should stay on. The problem is the majority of plants left are lower than 26. So it's most likely that 21 will stay on the market for next turn, but then 26 may not come on. Well, Teokop definitely gets that foothold that he needs. And yeah, this is just more reason for me not to build. The nice thing is I can get into one of the twins and get some of Selasphorus's blue cities here. So I can maybe get a plant next turn and block Teokop. So what I'm thinking is this. I might actually, like, if 21 stays in the market next turn, I might actually put in a bid for it. Because, I mean, num3n and teokop, like, these players just, they don't need to buy plants at this point. They don't need to buy plants at all. Also, you see how the builds are going here? This is why I'm glad to have purple. Because that's a nice backup to have if I get blocked on the rest of the map here. Which I will for the most part. I can still get into one of the twins here and go Starbrooken and that stuff. I can build one. Which means I want the twin. Building one city will not affect my turn order. So this is the play. I maybe should have built Saarbrücken instead, but I don't want to give teokop a city too cheap. But yeah. I think what happens is if 21 stays on next turn, I'll put in a bid for it. Because now we're really running out of plants lower than it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the majority of plants left in the deck are distinctly worse than 21. So we'll actually put in a bid for it. With oil being so cheap at this point too, I'll buy this. I'll buy this. Teokop, yeah, teokop can't buy a plant. That's why I bought 21. Okay, I think now I'm in a really strong position here because I can make a lot of money. And coal's the more important resource to attack than oil here. Let me see about this. Yeah, I can just... do this. Sure. And I'm just going to build to 9 and stay there. 9 is a nice low number of cities that I can afford to stay at. That should give me a good turn order for the step 3 builds. I expect teokop to build Saarbrücken and expand from there. Although they might need to go into... I mean, teokop just needs to get the cheapest cities possible. Which means north. Yeah. They need to go north. Ooh! I get Saarbrücken! Which I will gladly take. I'm just debating Augsburg or Passau, which would be better for me to get. And I think the answer is probably Passau. That's the... Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm buying 21 just because it's going to make me a ton of money. We have a decent amount of the game to go before step 3, so 21 is very much... It's in my favor to take that and just build now because I have the right amount of money to store resources, build to 9, and I could just make the most money possible from my 2 powerhouse plants here. So I'm set up really well here. 22 comes on beautiful. That's exactly what I want to see. Problem is, there's an issue here. Teokop might actually be able to catch up on capacity and win at the end. I mean, catch up in money, and then just build and win the game. And Selasphorus buys the 19, which I think is a reasonable play at this point. And 29 will continue to remain exclusively a coal plant for Selasphorus, I imagine. And that is correct. They don't buy an extra coal, though, which they arguably should have. I only need... So here's the thing. I only need 2 more plants to end the game from here. But I do need to go after oil a little bit here. And 18 is in. Okay. Well, that means I will just buy another coal here. Oh, I need to move coal onto the 8 in order to make this play possible. Make sure there's no more $5 coal left. And there's 24 for Selasphorus. So Selasphorus makes the sacrifice of building big, building to 14 to remove bad plants from the game, in this case the 14, but the 24 comes on, which is another not so good one. Problem is this. The reason we need to attack coal here is that we need teokop. Also, I'm glad that teokop is staying at 9 cities. That means that they're not getting the full value from 31 plus 27 there. So that hurts their money making a little bit still. They want to stay below me in the turn order, though. And I don't blame them for that. Here's the deal. If the next plant drawn from the deck is the 11, it'll immediately get removed from the game and we'll get the step 3 card next and go to the step 3 auction. And that's what we really need to get back in the game. Wow, I got completely blocked out of Augsburg in step 2. Dang. We know step 3 buildings can come next. I do need to take stuff that teokop would need. Teo still has the brown area to grab, but that's it. 12 and 14. I do not want to build a 12 for sure. Definitely don't want to build a 12. And burn the oil on the 21 for sure by click dragging the flames from the coal onto the oil. Nope. Okay. 36 out, and 25 is the last plant in. This is really good for me now, actually. I mean, I get why Selasphorus is doing this. Problem is, teokop... Well, here's the nice thing, though. If I could get a 6 plant, or actually, no, even a 5, teokop would need to buy a plant in order to be able to end the game. Because I know that the step 3 card is next, so we know for sure that 25 and 26 will come next, but the problem is 32 will be last. Newman, I think, needs to buy 25. We're to that point in the game. Question is, here's the deal. I do think that I can put in a click on 25. I think that's my play here. Because here's the problem. Teokop next turn is absolutely going to get the 32, and that gets them up to 17. I don't think they can end yet, though. I doubt they can end the game yet. But the game, I think, will end on the next turn if somebody gets to 17. Newman's in a good position, I think. But yeah, having the extra coal stored makes me want to bid 25. Now we'll do this. What I have to hope here is that if I buy the 26, give teokop the 32, I have to hope that I can get a 7 plant next turn and beat teokop in money. That's my hope here. Unfortunately, teokop does get the first build in step 3 here, which will help them. But that being said, there's not a whole lot they can block me in except Augsburg. They could block Augsburg. So I waste an extra coal this way, which is a mistake that I don't usually like to make. Alright, but the nice thing about this is it guarantees 46 comes onto the market for next turn, so there will be a 7 plant for me to bid on. And as long as I can stay low in the turn order, that will... I'll have a good chance of getting another 7 plant coming too. Because I can... As long as I stay low in the turn order, I can safely take any of them at this point. I'll make over $100 this turn, which is nice. I have to see... Like, I want to... Because here's my thing. I think I don't want to build this turn. Well, it depends on how much the others do. But I do think I still want to not build. So that I can go for the turn order position here. Makes 36 a safe plant for me if I do it this way. And plus, going bottom makes it a lot easier for me because, like, since I can build first, I can calculate out all of my builds. Teokop still will not build. With my extra resources stored, I can safely go for the 46 next turn at least. 46 and even 36 will actually be safe buys for me. Problem is, I'm not sure I can end it at 17 next turn. And if that's the case... Well, Teokop will have to buy one more plant. Like, Teokop could have bought the 30, gone 20, 31, 32 to get to 17. But clearly they're angling for the longer game here. They just don't have the money. Meanwhile, num3n is actually in a pretty strong position. And blocks me in my cheap Twin City, which sucks. My builds are getting expensive as hell, though. This is a problem. $44 in. So I'm fishing for either 46 or 36 here. Problem is, num3n can definitely end the game on this turn, for sure. They need to decide what plant to buy, though. This is tricky. Tricky situation for num3n here. Resources, but yeah. So num3n is just going for 40, trying to end the game now. I obviously have to pass. Got a bit on this. Handy dandy replacement for 21 here. There's that 36 now that I could use. I could really use this plant. If there is a next turn, then 38 will be the plant. That's going to be a hotly contested one, too. If there's a next turn. But I feel like there's not going to be. Okay, doing the max resource. Oh, oil buyout on Newman. All right, all right. Problem here is this. I actually ended up accidentally working the politics of this game really well. So I can definitely build 2 at minimum and keep turn order. And that's going to be the twins here. Yeah. I at least have this as a connection into the bigger part of the map. Oh god, Celeste could actually end it. Ooh, very good win. Alright, I should have seen that coming with Selasphorus' money lead. That was a mistake of me not to build 3 more. Good win, Selasphorus. Did not have that much left either. Building to end. I was just in an awkward spot money-wise. I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess maybe it was just the bidding for 34. Maybe that hurt my money there. Yeah, that was just a brain fart on my part. I should have realized Selasphorus could end the game. Damn it. Yeah, I think I was going to lose that one way or another, though. Although Teokop probably couldn't have afforded 18 on the next turn. Oh well. Good game and good win, Selasphorus.